All right, ladies and gentlemen, since there's no paladins in the current Mak'Gora tournament, the $100,000 hardcore tournament that's going on in Classic World of Warcraft right now, I can actually sit down and have a conversation with you guys about basically the Mak'Gora tournament in general. I'm going to call it unrestricted dueling. Okay? I'm not going to refer to this as Mak'Gora stuff. I'm going to call it unrestricted dueling, meaning that you can use anything that you possibly want in the entire game. There are no restrictions, blah, 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 blah. All right, so I am an extremely experienced dueler that knows way, 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 way too much about all the possible items and stuff that you can possibly use in the game. And I'm going to tell you right now that the Mak'Gora tournament, if played correctly, if people actually know their stuff in this Mak'Gora tournament, this is unrestricted dueling tournament, there is an extremely good chance that the tournament will actually be an S show. Like, insert bad word here, can't quite say it because it's too early in the video and YouTube has rules. It is literally going to be a clown show, a joke, a monstrosity. Now, before you hit the dislike button, hear me out on why this is for a second, okay? Hear about my reasoning, okay? So, a lot of people in Classic World of Warcraft, they say that PvP is very bursty, right? Classic World of Warcraft PvP is very bursty. Um, the issue with that statement is once you factor in unrestricted dueling, the burstiness of Classic World of Warcraft dueling goes out the window. Like, it literally goes out the window. If you're allowed to use major healing potions and I'm allowed to use major healing potions, you're allowed to use Whipperroot tubers. I'm allowed to use Whipperroot tubers. We can both use, fire resistance potions, nature resistance potions, heavy runecloth bandages in conjunction with other kind of stuff. So, for example, all right, so let's say I'll give you a primary example. So, if I'm bandaging and I have a greater fire protection potion on me, you'll notice it doesn't say resist when you get hit, it says absorb, which I'm fairly certain also means that you're not interrupting my bandage because I'm getting hit with fire attacks or frost attacks because I have a greater potion on. Hopefully you can get where we're going with this. What I'm trying to describe is a scenario where in dueling, we tell people they can't use potions, they can't use whipperoots, and they can't use all the crazy things that are available to us precisely because if we do allow a dueling scenario where anything goes, people become super unkillable super quickly. The same thing happens with resist gear. Resist gear is usually restricted in duels because once people put on enough resist gear, they are literally unkillable. And this is even under dueling conditions where whipperroot and potions are not allowed. To say nothing about all the buffs that you can put on your character. My point is that if you think duels in an unrestricted dueling tournament are not going to go 10 minutes long or more, they're not going to hit the window, you are out of your damn mind. Every single duel is going to be 10 minutes or more. Now, they have a rule in Mak'Gora where if the first duel in this tournament, where if the first duel times out, meaning it goes its full 10 minutes and then it times out, the next duel that people have, you're only allowed to use two food, three food and three water. That's not going to make even the slightest dent in the problem. And I'm about to describe in no uncertain terms what the problem is, meaning that that duel where you can't eat or drink is still going to go another 10 minutes. Oh, and the duel after that is going to go another 10 minutes. And the duel after that is going to go another 10 minutes. This is assuming that people know what the hell they're doing. I know what the hell I'm doing, so I'm about to explain it to you right now. Okay, so let's say you're a fresh level 60. Now, to give you an idea of how bad this actually is, even in Era, when people have access to Nax gear, if we did an unrestricted duel in Nax gear versus Nax gear characters, where they can use any item in the entire game, the duels will last 10 minutes or more because the two people just cannot find a way to kill each other. That's not entirely true. Eventually, they can chain together enough burst or enough crit damage that they can actually kill each other, despite all of the insane nonsense that's out there to allow us to survive. But the point still remains that even in unrestricted dueling in pure Nax gear, we're finding it difficult to kill each other. What the hell do you think it's going to look like for a bunch of fresh level 60s that are basically auction house antes and a few dungeon runs worth of gear? Good luck finding the window to kill each other. So, the best window to possibly kill somebody under just about any PvP circumstances is specifically a Goblin bomb dispenser. One sec, I really don't want to pull that up real fast. Let's go Goblin bomb. Shouldn't take long. Dispenser. Okay, it's a Goblin bomb dispenser. It says 30-minute cooldown, right? Creates a mobile bomb that charges the nearest enemy and explodes for about 350 fire damage on a 30-minute cooldown. Why is this the king of any burst that you can possibly do in the game? It has to do with the fact that if I pull it up and I come down here and I see, let's see, blah 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 blah, you'll notice that there's no shared cooldowns. So the thing about Goblin Bomb Dispenser is that it's the only burst trinket in the entire game that I've ever found, and I've tested all of them, that does not actually share a cooldown with any other trinket in the entire game. Any other burst trinket in the entire game. All the other burst trinkets in World of Warcraft share a cooldown with each other, so you can't just like double burst trinket on people. So, for example, I can't Zandalari Hero Charm and 6 Demon Bag somebody because they share a cooldown. I can't skeleton summon on somebody and use a Defender of the Timbermaw trinket at the same time for a double summon because they share a cooldown. It'll literally, if I use the Timbermaw, it'll put the skeleton summon on a 30-second cooldown because that's how long the Timbermaw lasts. If I summon the skeleton, it'll put the Timbermaw on a 1 minute cooldown because that's how long the skeleton lasts. You get the idea. Okay, the bomb dispenser is the only PvP trinket in the entire game that does not share a cooldown with any other burst trinket in the game, which means it's the only trinket, the only burst trinket in the game where you can double burst on somebody is a damn Goblin bomb dispenser. There are other weird aspects about Goblin bomb dispenser. You can summon the thing, swap out the trinket, mount up, and the mob will follow you fast as hell on the mount, and it'll only activate on against the nearest target when it has like a 10-yard range or something like that. I'll pause the video and I'll try to pull up Classic World of Warcraft and show this to be 100% definitively the case. Just give me a sec here. Because knowing Bomb Dispenser is absolutely critical to knowing anything about a unrestricted dueling tournament and a Mak'Gora tournament. Because there's going to be very limited kill windows in the tournament. You're going to have to muster as much DPS as you possibly can in order to kill somebody. And part of that equation is virtually without exception going to be a Goblin Bomb Dispenser. The problem that we're about to get into, so I don't bury the lead here, is you'll notice Goblin Bomb Dispenser does fire damage. And you'll start looking at your other burst options in the game where you're like, okay, Goblin Bomb Dispenser plus Goblin Mortar plus either a Thorium Grenade or a Goblin Sapper Charge. That's probably your best burst option is Goblin Bomb Dispenser plus a Goblin Sapper Charge plus a Goblin Mortar. You stun them with the Goblin Mortar and you nuke them with a combination of Bomb Dispenser and Sapper Charge. The problem here is that all of that is fire damage, which is why I had Greater Fire Protection Potion pulled up already. Gives you about 2,600 fire damage resistance, lasts 1 hour, and it has a 2-minute cooldown. People are going to start duels with Greater Fire Protection Potion on them, and with the exception of forcing them to use a mana potion or forcing them to use a healing potion, you better believe, as long as Fire Protection Potion is still active on the target, they're basically immune to being bursted out of existence. As long as they're playing correctly. Why? Because being bursted out of existence is going to always involve lots of fire damage. Why? Because you're either using a Goblin Sapper Charge or Goblin Mortar or Thorium Grenade. You get the point. Every character in the game, when they go to try to kill somebody, is going to be doing sizable portions of fire damage. and fire protection potions tell you pretty much to go F yourself. So if you're thinking about a character who doesn't come baseline with some fire damage, which is literally every class in the game with the exception of Shaman, Mage, I think that's about it. There's a fire trap that a hunter can do, but that's it, right? Those are the only two classes that come baseline with some fire damage. You're gonna have to spend grenades and shit to get rid of this stupid fire protection potion. I also don't know if you can be stunned while a fire protection potion is on you. I'll have to check that out, but it'd be pretty bad. So anyways, I'm going to pause the video here, and I'm going to try to get on Classic WoW, even though they're doing maintenance, and I'll actually show you exactly how a Goblin Bomb Dispenser operates. Seriously? Still recording? Fuck off. Alright, cool. We should be recording. Stand there and look pretty. Alright. So I told him to stand there and look pretty for now. Not to do anything else, basically. So if I don't actually show you guys how this crap works, you actually won't believe me. Which is kind of annoying, but it is what it is, right? Okay, so currently I have Goblin Bomb Dispenser on, and I'm going to try to use Goblin Mortar. I'm going to try to switch it out with another burst trinket like 6 Demon Bag. I'm just going to show you guys the burst potential and how these mechanic works. Okay, so I'm going to summon Goblin Bomb Dispenser. Okay, cool. I'm going to swap to 6 Demon Bag. I am going to mount, and I'm actually going to wait out, because this thing lasts a damn minute. I'm actually going to wait out the 30 seconds for this. And I'm going to try to burst on him. As soon as I get within about 10 yards of him or so, the Goblin Bomb Dispenser will activate. You can see it's fast as fuck boy when I'm on my mount, which is good. But we're about to go here, and we'll give it a go. Okay, so I'm going to run up. I'm going to Goblin Mortar him. And you can see the 6 Demon Bag was instantly put on GCD even with the Goblin Mortar. My point is that that's the you can use it the way I used it, but that's the only trinket in the game that doesn't actually share a GCD with anything else. Let me try to find my Zandalari Hero Charm here. Where the hell is it at? Should have the Zandalari Hero Charm around here somewhere. Seriously? Seriously? There it is. Jesus. Alright, Zandalari Hero Charm. As soon as I 6 Demon Bag, I can't Zandalari Hero Charm and 6 Demon Bag. Anyways, Goblin Bomb Dispenser, only trinket in the game, does not actually share a GCD with any other trinket in the game. When you saw me summon it, you'll notice my Goblin Bomb Dispenser did not go on cooldown at all. Give it a sec, and I'll switch over to my Mage, and we'll show the Fire Protection Potion stuff. Alright, so if I 6 Demon Bag this guy, if you don't know, 6 Demon Bag has a 100% spell power ratio. So if I 6 Demon Bag our boy here, no valid target, alright, boom. You can see it puts the Zandalari Hero Charm on cooldown. If I do it the other way around, it also puts it on cooldown. So for example, if I scroll a Blinding Light over here, these two things are going to share a GCD. I just can't use them back to back. Goblin Bomb Dispenser is the only damn thing that does not actually share a GCD with one another. Alright, actually, I want to concede this duel, but since I can't actually type concede, and I don't want to type anything in case it pauses the video and screws up the video, I'm going to run away for a sec, because I want to be able to trade the Greater Fire Protection Potion that I just spent 15 gold to buy, so I can test to see if grenade works on it, if you can, what's the thing called, bandage while doing it, that sort of stuff. Alright, let's see, trade. I'll give him that. Alright. Make sure we're still recording. Okay, cool. Gotta wait for him to use it. He chugged it down. Alright, we're gonna duel real fast. We'll see if nade stun affects him at all. Alright, so it'll say absorb, but the nade stun actually worked, which is good. Oh, and then we get the absorb. Okay, cool. Alright, so the next thing to test is log out, logging, getting mage, testing if you can bandage. We're still recording, thank God. Alright, so Minnow's on the same page here. Boom. Alright, we want the majors. We want to duel. And I don't want to hit him with anything too terribly scary when it comes to fire, so we're just going to do a rank 1 fireball. Alright, rank 1. Yeah, non-existent. Alright, I guess I just start casting. And if he wants to bandage, we'll see. Alright, good, we got this. Does it interrupt? Okay, yeah. Okay. We still recording? Cool, thank God. Alright, so that settles that. Enough said, we've seen enough. Does he want to try again? Alright, whatever. What are you typing? Okay, my keyboard is fucked in. No shit. Sun drop juice. It's funny. I think he wants to try it again, so we'll try it again. Alright, we'll try it again if you want, but, I mean... Pew. Okay, yeah, it breaks. Alright, confirmed. Alright, we're done here. That's all I wanted to know. Because it says absorb, so, you know, in theory, maybe it doesn't break, right? So it lies about it being absorbed. But if it was a bubble shield, then he would be able to bandage easily. Alright, cool, we're done here. Thank God. I can leave, get off, actually do a recording now, go back to Wowhead. Okay, so, our conclusions here. If you're trying to actually kill somebody in an unrestricted duel, you have to get through their Greater Fire Protection Potion. Because every class in the entire game's actual I'm going to kill you now burst involves a considerable amount of fire damage. What does this tell us? However, if you actually watched my fire resist video, or my resistance video in general, you'll know that in Classic World of Warcraft, once you get above 100 fire resist, there is no 0% fire resist anymore, practically. It's like 100, 120% fire resist in Classic WoW. There's no 0% resist anymore. Which means that every single fire spell that is going to hit you ever, I can probably look it up if I want, every single fire spell that's going to hit you ever is... what am I trying to say? It's going to have a 20% damage reduction to it. What I'm basically trying to say here is that the vast majority of PvPers in Classic World of Warcraft, when I watch these dueling tournaments, when I watch these streamers, when I watch people who are dueling but they are not top of the food chain PvPers, what I see them doing is that they whittle the enemy down to a point where they know they can burst on them, and then they burst on them. And the mistake that the other player is making, assuming they can heal, is they're letting their HP drop low enough that the enemy can even burst on them. But in an unrestricted Mak'Gora tournament, the only real way to burst on somebody is going to be if you have them stunned, so they can't do anything, if they've let their HP drop to the point where they can even potentially be killed. And the reason for this is because if they're allowed to take any action whatsoever, that action is going to be a Whipper-Root Tuber for like an 800 heal, or it's going to be a major healing potion for like a 1350 or some, or God knows how much healing is involved with that. Good luck manaing people out. It's just terrible. It's just absolutely terrible. So anyways, the TLDR here is that in an unrestricted duel in this tournament that they're proposing, you're going to find it virtually impossible to kill people as long as the people in question know what the hell they're doing. I'm making this video to make sure that anybody watching it is going to be one of the people who actually knows what the hell they're doing. Okay? If you don't know what the hell you're doing, yeah, you're going to die because you don't know that you could make yourself theoretically unkillable. So, for example, there are no paladins in this tournament, but if I was a paladin, I sit in fire resist aura, plus 60 fire resistance. I get the head enchant and the leg enchant for fire resistance from Blackrock Depths, really easy to get. It might not be super easy to get on hardcore or on hardcore just because of the lockout thing. Now that I think about it, but you'd have a really good chance of getting it since you could do a run every day. It shouldn't be that hard to get 2 of them. You just need a crew, which is a bit of a problem. But fire resist, blah 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 blah. Right, so you get those 2 enchants. You're already at 100 fire resist. It's very easy to get even more fire resist. Why am I stacking fire resist? Well, because if you're going to get bursted out of existence in a Mak'Gora, it's going to involve a lot of fire damage. We already talked about this. It's going to involve thorium grenades or sapin charges or goblin mortars or goblin bomb dispensers, because goblin bomb dispenser that's the only way to get burst damage in the game. Every bursting class in the entire game uses a lot of fire damage. The 3 highest bursting damage classes in the game use a shit ton of fire damage. Elemental Shaman's burst has fire damage in its rotation. In its burst combo, it has a lot of fire damage, on top of the fact that it wants to grenade stun you or mortar stun you or goblin bomb dispenser you, so forth and so on. Mages, no matter what kind of mage they are, they've got a lot of fire damage in their burst, and they also want to grenade you and goblin mortar you and bomb dispenser on you and all that stuff. Then there's Destra Warlock. Need I say more? They're literally launching fire spells at you. And if you know anything about fire resist in Classic World of Warcraft, you know that once you get it over 100 fire resist or 120 fire resist, somewhere around there, 0% fire resist goes off, which means you just take. Which means every time someone's trying to burst you, you're going to have something stupid like 25%. You're going to have significantly more HP than you think they would have. Anyways, the point I'm trying to make here is that if you're actually trying to burst somebody out of existence in Classic World of Warcraft, at a minimum, for any class in the entire game, for a fucking rogue, they're going to be throwing about 1,500 fire damage at you whether you like it or not. Okay? 1,500 fire damage incoming is going to be part of that burst for every single class in the entire game, including Paladin. Which means that something as simple as a fire protection potion might as well read that it's giving you something stupid like plus 1,500 more HP for when the enemy actually tries to burst you out of existence. And it lasts for a fucking hour. Okay, this thing is incredibly powerful burst protection for you in Classic World of Warcraft, and it's not like you can't stack these damn things, right? Because behind this greater fire protection potion is also a major protection potion, or behind it is a frost protection potion, or a nature protection potion. You get where the hell we're going with this, right? You follow me on this? Okay, cool. What else is there to talk about here? All right, so let's talk about how to actually win a Mak'Gora based upon. You can tell it's like 4 a.m. here, so I'm trying to talk a little low. Wife is sleeping. Let's talk about how to actually win a Mak'Gora tournament, assuming you're going to be a smart boy and everybody else is going to be stupid and unable to find their greater fire protection potions, or are unable to recognize the value of fire resistance gear on your character, as opposed to, say, HP, which might be harder to get. Okay? Okay, cool. Also, you could throw in here the magic protection potions, which give you 50 all resist for 3 minutes on a 2-minute cooldown. Again, we've talked about the value of fire resistance, blah, 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 blah. All right, so the first thing to realize is that by the first thing you want to do with your class is make yourself unkillable. Or maybe I should make this video a 2-part video. Yeah, because I'm going to be talking a lot here. Okay, I'm going to make this part a 2-part video, and I'm just going to have this part be part 1. And this is going to be titled My Problem with Unrestricted Dueling, aka Mak'Gora tournaments. And then in the second part, I'm actually going to talk about how you go about actually winning these tournaments based upon their they're literally full send stupid rules they have in this tournament. But it's a Mak'Gora, and Mak'Goras are unrestricted dueling, and you asked for it in Classic WoW, so here it is. Anyways, I'm over here in Deus Vult Boys.